All right, so I'm going to talk about two commands that are really helpful just to know. It's the Orient and the Orient 3D command. So I'm just going to explain these just starting off with just a blank Rhino file. And I'm just going to draw, just to get started, I'm going to draw a square. I'm going to draw one that is 6 by 6, 6 enter, 6 enter. And then I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a line that is longer than 6 inches. So I'm just going to eyeball this. If you happen to have ortho turned off, just turn it on. And this line, I'm going to just rotate it some random angle. So I'm going to select it, type in rotate, click on the line. Now I'm going to turn ortho back off and just rotate it some random angle. Something other than like 90 degrees or 180 degrees. So down here, the only thing that I temporarily turned ortho on and off, and have everything else turned off down here, except for object snap. Okay, so say for example, I want to take this 2D square and actually line it up against this line. Right, so I can do this by using two commands. I can first move it. I can move it from there to somewhere near the line, and then rotate. From that endpoint, I'll zoom in just a bit, to that endpoint, and then somewhere near the edge, near the line. And now it's actually on the actual line itself. I can do that. It's one too many commands. I'm going to hit Control Z or Command Z a couple times. So the other way of doing this is I can use the Orient command. Orient. I just type in Orient, and now it says Select Objects to Orient. I select the object, I hit Enter. And then it's saying reference point number 1. I just click on endpoint. And then it says, my command line says reference point number 2. So I click on another endpoint on the box. And then my command line is saying target point number 1. So I click on that line, somewhere near the line, making sure it's snapping. And then my command line says target point number 2. And I can just snap somewhere near that line. And it's essentially within one command, I was able just to move it and rotate it in place. So it's a really helpful command just to know. It also works with 3D objects. So for example, if I have an actual box, I'll just do 6 enter, 6 enter, 6 enter to actually have a 3D box. I can use Orient again. Select the box and hit that endpoint, and then just 2 points on the line. And now it's actually on there. As I'm doing this, I can actually copy the objects depending on my options. So if I make another box, 6 enter, 6 enter, 6 enter, I'm going to orient this object again. But this time in my options, whereas normally it might say copy equals no, I'm going to say copy equals yes. So as I'm orienting it from those 2 points to these 2 points, it'll actually copy it. Or I can orient it in a different direction by doing orient again. From this endpoint to this endpoint, which should match up to this endpoint and this endpoint. So again, it's a really helpful command to get to know. So the other command that's even more helpful is Orient 3-point. So let me see. Let me set this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make another object. So I'm going to click and hold down on the box. And I'm going to look for the one that says truncated pyramid. So I'm going to click there. So where it says number of sides, I'm gonna click on it and hit 4. On the Mac, it'll be on the left-hand side. It'll say number of sides, and just make sure it says 4. I'm gonna click somewhere on the screen, and just to make sure that all of ours are pretty much the same or similar, at this point I'm gonna click Ortho, and I'm gonna hit 36, enter, and then just click on the screen. And then for the height, again, I'm going to do 36, enter. And then for the other side, I'm going to hit, let's do 24. And let's do, not 24, let's do 12. Yeah, that's better. We'll do 12, and then just make sure you're going inside. There we go. So we have something like this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take one of these boxes, and I wanted to, like, I wanted to like line up on this face right here. So I'm going to use this once by using the Orient command and then rotate 3D. All right, so I'm going to take this box. I'm going to do Orient. Click these two bottom endpoints. That correspond to this endpoint and this endpoint. And I had the option to copy it, so it copied it as I was using the Orient command. So at least now it's in this location, but it's now I need to rotate it down this this angle. And I don't know what this angle is, because I just typed in the numbers. So if I want to, now I can use rotate 3D. And with rotate 3D, you essentially have to, it's similar to like regular rotate, but instead of a single point, you have to define an axis. So you need 2 points. So if I click use rotate 3D, hit the box. So again, it's just the start of the rotation axis. So I have to click 2 points. So 1, 2. And then my third one, so I'm going to click on the end of the box. And I'm probably still in ortho mode, so I'm going to get out of ortho. So now as I start to rotate around here, it's rotating 3-dimensionally around that axis that I had originally defined by clicking those 2 points. So now I can click near the bottom of this down here, near the endpoint at the bottom. And now I have that object on here. We'll be using rotate 3D. Or what I can do is I can use Orient 3-point. Orient 3-point. Select this object. And I have to be really careful on where I'm clicking. So I'm going to click 2 points, or 3 points, I'm sorry, 3 points across the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 points on this side. I'm going to click near the midpoint, the end point, and then this bottom point. And I think, yeah. So now it's actually on that same face. If I need, and again, depending on where you actually clicked, it'll place this in a certain location. So if you need to move it after the fact, like I'm going to have to, I can just use move command and just scoot it over. But what's really helpful about this is say for example you have some random object that is at some angle that you don't know about and you want to like put it back on the grid. I can also use Orient 3 point for that. Orient 3 point. And I just click 3 points on the object. And 3 points on the grid. I'll put ortho back on if I want to. And now it's placed that object flat on the grid. I can also do the same thing with this entire object, but now this face of this object, I'm going to make it flat on the grid as well. So Orient 3 point. And just select 3 points here on this face, and then 3 points on the grid. So now that this bottom part is perfectly flat on the grid. So Orient and Orient 3 point, really helpful commands just to get to know.